Back again, ladies and gentlemen, for lesson 26. So today all we're doing is we're playing two more examples in the key of G major. So how many sharps, this is a question for you, how many sharps are in the key of G major? Think about it. Think back to last lesson. If you haven't been watching them, go back and watch those. Hopefully you said F sharp. That is the correct answer. The key of G has one sharp, and that's F sharp. I went over that in more detail during the theory lessons for the circle of fifths. So anyway, thanks for watching as always, and here comes the lesson. Alright, at the piano again, lots to talk about today. Well, not lots to talk about, but these examples are a little more involved than before. So let's just get started. We have an example here. It has one sharp. That sharp is F sharp. Now, what key are we in? Think about this for a second. Pause the video if you need to. We are in the key of G, which has one sharp, G major. We are in 4/4 time signature, means 4 beats in a measure. Quarter note gets 1 beat, of course. We got some dynamic stuff going on, but we'll worry about that a little bit later. So let's just get started with the right hand. We're going to be over G for this one because we're in the key of G. Left hand's a little different. I'll explain that in a second. But anyway, here we go with the right hand. So you've got we've got two sets of numbers here, and they correspond with the two notes that are written in the right hand. The top number corresponds with the top note. Bottom number corresponds with the bottom note. So we got 1 with G, which is the bottom note, and then we got 3 with B. So we play those. And then you move on to the next one. You got 2 with A, 4 with C. And now what you want to do is you want to shift for the next two notes to be able to hit 1 with B and 3 with D. Yeah, exactly. And then you move down with 4 with C and 2 with A again. And then you move down again, basically to where we started, which was 1 with G, 3 with B. And now we are at the end of, and you want to shift again to be able to hit, remember, it's not F, but F sharp, because we have that key signature there. And then you got 2 on that F sharp and 4 on A. So once again, the first two measures will sound like this. And then once you got that down, the third measure with the right hand, you will have 1 with G, 2 with A, 2 with A again, and then you got 3 with B, 2 with A, 1 with G, 1 with G again. And here you're going to kind of move your pivot your fingers to hit 2 with that F sharp. And then you got 2 with F sharp, 1 with G, 1 with G again, 2 with A, and 1 with G. So this one, the right hand's not too bad, but know that we have 2 notes at a time for the first 2 measures. So it's a little different. It's a little more, it's a little different of an exercise. So we've got, this is what it'll sound like with the right hand once you got it all done. Now I'm going to play it with the dynamics added in. So we have piano going to forte, and then we have another decrescendo back down to piano. So it should sound like this. There you go. Now, the left hand, we have 3 sets of numbers, each corresponding with each of the notes. So we have the top number corresponds with the top note, middle number corresponds with the middle note, and the bottom number corresponds with the bottom note. So here's our first chord. So we've got 5 with D, 2 with G, and 1 with B, counting from the bottom up. And then the next chord, we've got 5 with D. Now 3 is going to hit which note? Think about this. Think about it long and hard because it's not F, but F sharp. Got to remember that key signature. That's probably going to throw you off for a little while until you get used to it. And then you got 1 with B. So you hit all of those at the same time. It should sound nice and pretty. And then you've got back to the first chord we did. That's the beginning of measure 2 is the same chord. And then we've got a new chord. We've got 5 with E, 3 with G, and 2 with 3 with G and 1 with B, sorry. Hit all those at the same time, should sound nice and pretty. And then you got the first chord in measure 3 is actually the first chord again that we did. So that will actually be D with 5, G with 2, and B with 1. And then we've got a new chord here. We've got 5 with D. We're talking about the third measure, second half of the third measure. You got 5 with D, 3 with, don't say F, but F sharp. There you go. I'll remind you about that F sharp there. And you got 1 with A. All those at the same time. Should sound nice and pretty. And then you got the last chord, which is the first chord again. So I don't have to go over that. So once you can play the left hand by itself, I suggest you do this one hand separate, and then you do it hands together very, very, very slowly, note by note really, making sure you got all the notes right along the way. Once you do that and you can play both hands pretty solid, add in the dynamics. Don't add the dynamics in right away because I think that's just too much to think about when you're first worrying about the notes. So that's how I would approach it. So you got this first chord, you got the next one. You got the first chord in the second measure again, and then you got the next chord. On to the next one, first chord in the third measure, second chord in the third measure, and then you got the last measure. So I will just play these hands together now. Now that we got it all together, I'll try to add in the dynamics along with it. So here we go. I'm going to start out by playing it slow, and then I'll play it a little bit faster. So... So that was kind of rough. It wasn't too bad, though. Let me try it one more time. Start at piano, actually. So there we go. There's example 1. On to example 2. This should make it easy. This is kind of how it's going to work from now on for each lesson, at least any one that involves playing examples. There's going to be 2 playing examples. One playing example is going to be like kind of the easier one, and then there's going to be another playing example that's like the first one, but with some changes to make it a little more difficult. The changes in this one, we have 2 main changes. The right hand is exactly the same. Let me make sure that's correct. Yeah, right hand is exactly the same. The dynamics are different. The dynamics, you start out fortissimo, so playing almost as loud as you can. And then you get softer and softer and softer until the end. You get to piano with that decrescendo there. Or what's the other name for it? Think about it. Diminuendo. That's right. So we've got our left hand is totally different if you realize, if you've seen it, if you're taking a look at it. So that's what we're going to focus on first is the left hand. The right hand we already talked about. If you want to go over that again, you can rewind earlier in the video. But we've basically already talked about it. So we got our left hand. Let's get our left hand in position. Oh no, this one's not in regular G position. Actually, on the last example, it wasn't either. Know that once you get more advanced with the piano, and I've mentioned this before, the positions aren't as important. They're really like more for beginners, just to kind of show you where your hand should be. You know, given a key of music, usually if you have a key of C, you're going to be around C, but not necessarily. So it does change. In this song in particular, it does. So the most important thing you got to remember is hitting the right note, the right finger. So we've got G with finger 2. That's the first note in the left hand they have for us. So you put your fingers like that. Make sure you can play the next couple notes with the fingers that you have in place, and yeah, that works out. So remember, you want to first start out by putting the right finger on the right note and lay the rest of your fingers across, and that should put you in the right position. Should. you might have to switch positions if the fingering dictates so. So, here we go. We got G with 2, B with 1, D with 5, G with 2. Now for the second half of measure 1, you got D with 5, B with 1, D sharp with 3. Don't forget about that D sharp. And then you got G with 5, or not G with 5, sorry, D with 5. And now we've got the beginning of measure 2. You got G with 2, B with 1, D with 5, G with 2. And then you got D with 5, sorry, B with 1, F sharp with 3, and then you got D with 5 again. And now we're on the next to last measure, that third measure there. You got G with 2, C with 1, B with 3, or A with 3, sorry. Got my tongue tied this morning. And then you got B with 2, and then you got C with 1, B with 2, and now you want to switch, even though you're hitting the same note, you want to switch from B to 2 with B to 1, and that will give you enough fingers to finish the piece. So then you play that B with 1 again, and then you play D with 5, and then you kind of scrunch your hand up just a tiny bit to hit G with 1, and that gives you enough room to hit the G below it with 5, because that's an octave there, the last two notes there. So G, G. So once you can play it from beginning to end, it should sound like this. So there you go. I tried to do the dynamics. I realized I got a little louder there at the very end. So it's just something you'll have to practice a few times over to just really nail that dynamic change there. And by dynamics, I'm talking about how loud you're playing. So let's try it hands together very slowly. See how we do. So not too bad. I'll play through it again, make it a little more solid. See, so I just noticed I'm messing up the fingering right there. So I'm going to go through that part just nice and slow. Just kind of showing you how I approach it when I have a little trouble. You always want to, whenever you're having trouble with something, don't play the entire thing over and over again. You want to concentrate on the part you're having trouble with. So here I'm on the third measure, the next to the last one. I'm going to slow it down a little bit so you get that fingering. So again, those last two measures, just to make sure we got it and it wasn't by luck. There we go. So once again, the whole song. There you go, and you know, obviously we don't have all day to go over this lesson, but I'd keep playing it again and again until it was almost perfect. That time was pretty good, but that's usually how you do things. You kind of break it down note by note first. You learn the notes hands separate, obviously. Put them together slowly, hands together, and then once you perfect that, you add in the little details like dynamics and things like that. So there you go. That concludes 26, the two examples we wanted to do today, and I'll see you guys and girls for the outro. Thanks for watching. Okay, so that wraps up yet another lesson, 26 out of the way already. So we've played 2 more examples in the key of G. Remember that the key of G has how many sharps? 1 sharp, that's right. So if you didn't know that, go back and watch my previous videos, especially the theory ones where I go over the circle of fifths. I think it was like a 3 or 4 part theory lesson. And I might do a wrap-up of that later on. But anyway, more lessons on the way. I know some people have been asking me in the comments. A common question is, oh, I hope you're not getting tired. I hope you're not going to stop making videos because I really like them and they're really helping me out. I will keep making videos for the foreseeable future. I really like doing it. I just finished up school, so I do have more time to spend on this. I'm actually working on something else that I will make an announcement for soon. Some of you will be very excited about. Some of you maybe not so much, but I will keep making lessons on the YouTube channel. So no matter what the announcement is, don't worry about it. More great stuff on the way for you guys and girls, and thanks for watching as always. So like, subscribe, do whatever you do, and I'll see you for lesson 27. Thank you.